Good morning, everyone. My very distinguished co-panelists here on the dais, esteemed members of the faculty, esteemed members of the organizing committee, and all the young, bright minds of Karnamati University here this morning. Friends, we are one of the fastest growing economies in the world today, but our ranking in Human Development Index is 131 out of 189. I want to touch upon some of these basic truths. Major determinants of Human Development Index are education, health, income, and we have barely moved 24 places in the last 20 years. 65% of our population is below the age of 29 today. By next year, we'll have the largest youth population in the world, in the region of about 400 million. And the window of demographic dividend that we seem to enjoy today will also reduce with the expansion of artificial intelligence. Today, only 20% of our workforce is formally skilled, as against 47% in China, 96% in Korea, and 80% in Japan. As far as vocational training is concerned, India has net enrollment of 8 million per year compared to 80 million in China. And to be globally competitive, we'll have to grow at 9 to 10% every year. That's the kind of GDP we're trying to aim at. And to do that, we need a core of 250 million people with diverse skills to attend various segments of the economy. We need to build many more institutes of excellence in higher education, because at the moment, none of our institutes figure in the top 200 in the world today. We all recognize that education is fundamental to unleashing human resource potential, developing an equitable, inclusive, just, and an informed society, and also for promotion of our national developmental goals. India has a history of glorious heritage. In our philosophy, pursuit of knowledge was always considered highest human goal for complete realization and liberation of self. We have had world-class institutions in ancient India like Takshila, Nalanda, Vikramshila, Vallabhi, which pioneered the highest standards of multidisciplinary learning, as well as research, and we hosted scholars from across the globe. Our civilization produced such eminent scholars like Chanakya, Aryabhatta, Bhaskaracharya, Varamira, Patanjali, Maitri, Gargi, Nagarjuna, Brahmagupta, and many others who made seminal contributions in the field of science, civil engineering, metallurgy, mathematics, architecture, surgery, even shipbuilding, navigation, and fine arts. These legacies must not only be nurtured and they must be preserved for posterity, but we should also research and assimilate in a manner that we inherit and use their wisdom in the new system that we have created. Today, the world is witnessing rapid changes in the knowledge landscape. With cutting-edge technologies, wealth of data, artificial intelligence, they will be spurred in demand for a highly specialized workforce with the kind of challenges posed by climate change, public health, food security, depletion of natural resources, environmental degradation, and burgeoning population. The curriculum that has been followed by most universities has very little relevance to the job market. The old education policy was broken down in silos, ambiguities. There was little confusion between regulation and control. We needed paradigm shift to evolve very, very pragmatic formats. I'm glad National Education Policy 2020 has been formulated with the wisdom of 2 parliamentary committees, somewhere close to 50 round tables, besides wider consultation with diverse stakeholders, and also huge feedback from the rural communities of India. Concerted endeavor has been made to bridge the gap between existing state of learning outcomes and what is really required to undertake reforms. It is based on the principle that education must be multidisciplinary. One, and it must focus on development of intellectual curiosity, analytical ability, creativity, and capacity to think rationally to find solutions in a very innovative way. We must make education experiential, holistic, integrated, inquiry-driven, work-oriented, while paying equal emphasis on the values of integrity, ethics, compassion, and team spirit, so that students not only gain wisdom, but they're transformed as usual citizens of society and become very, very integral partners in the task of nation building. Another thing, it must also aim at providing equitable access and opportunities to all the learners, irrespective of barriers of society and their economic background. Now I'm coming to a little boring part of the policy because this is something the student would not like. I have to briefly touch upon some of the features because it is necessary since this is the seminar on policy. There are very interesting features. There will be few observations I'll make, very constructive observations. And one is the early childhood care and education, where the right to education admissibility was earlier 6 to 14 years, now it's gone to 3 to 18 years. Very welcome move, and policy pushes for universalization. Very interesting. Then investment in infrastructure and continuous professional development of teachers through special program certification. But there's a little catch here. We're still maintaining the status quo of having curriculum under one ministry and implementation under two different ministries. And then this recommendation of joint task force may not really address the existing gaps that happen at the moment. Then we're very happy about the National Mission for Foundational Literacy and Numeracy because it will help us in achieving universal foundational literacy and numeracy in primary school by 2025. Then also the promise of filling up of all the teachers' vacancies with particular priority on those who belong to disadvantaged section of society, they're very welcome. But we'll catch here that there is no definition of basic text in the policy against which literacy can be really measured. We need to define that, finally. Then there is mention of national book promotion policy. It's okay to have that policy, but it is also very important to prioritize access to the relevant age-appropriate reading material cutting across different languages of the country, which is already an ongoing focus in terms of programs such as Samagra Shiksha. There has been a massive restructural change in curriculum and pedagogy in schools. Because policy encourages local language, and I'm glad policy recognizes that there are cognitive benefits for children who are exposed to different languages at an early age. And medium instruction being your mother tongue, your local tongue. So these are some of the very good areas. Then universal access to education at all levels, a commitment to have 100% gross enrollment ratio by 2030, very good investment in resources such as infrastructure and students, and rigorous tracking of 100% students through various means, and also introduction of public-private partnership in schools to curtail dropout, I think is a very innovative move. But we'll require a little more clarity on the ratio of social workers and counselors that are being made available to children, and at what level they'll be appointed, where will they come from, will they be sourced from existing personnel or from different ministries. So these are some of the detailed areas we still need to go into. Then there are issues on testing and assessment system shall be transformed. Memorization skill test will give way to the one that will be competency-based, and policy will promote formative assessment, peer assessment. These are very nice moves. And even teachers' education. Finally, the policy recognizes that teachers are very, very vital to nation building because they teach our children. Children are the future of our nation. Then, very interesting gender inclusion fund that is being introduced. I think it will help the states to use this fund to implement policies by ensuring equity through provision of toilets, sanitation, conditional transfers, bicycles, and also to support all community-based interventions. But here, there are no action points or time-bound goals on bridging the gap, particularly among the social category for different children with special needs. I can go on, but I'm told I have only 1 minute left. But let me tell you, there are many other interesting features that have been included, and I'll touch upon. One is the establishment of National Research Foundation to facilitate merit-based but equitable peer-reviewed research funding. Secondly, also the school complexes. School complexes in a radius of 5 to 10 kilometers. It will be a very interesting move because 5 to 10 kilometers, it will promote resource efficiency, better coordination and management. Then expansion of strengthening of open schools. That's another very interesting feature. And I must come back to something that I really like. That was, we are putting in a trust to end the fragmentation by institutional restructuring and consolidation. Now here, high-performing Indian universities shall be encouraged to set up campuses in other countries. Similarly, selected universities among top 100 universities will be allowed to operate and set up campuses here. And policy says that higher education institutions shall aim to be multidisciplinary. This means there will be universities, there will be clusters, there will be knowledge hubs, and in almost every district of India. But that will be remarkable. We have about 600 odd districts in India. It will be almost making everything universal in terms of university, education, and knowledge hubs. And also to foster and nurture innate talents of gifted students, additional support has been included in it. And all institutions have similar standard of audits and disclosure. This is again a very interesting feature. But let me come back to the point that we are essentially a federal country. And the center and state will really have to work together. They will have to work in coordination to increase public investment, education from currently 4% to 6%, notwithstanding our other political interests. The policy has, on the whole, endeavored to revamp all aspects of education structure, including its regulation, governance, to create a new system that resonates with the aspirational goals of 21st century one, and also including the sustainable development of the United Nations. A larger degree of success of the framework would lie in building synergy and coordination between various stakeholders, continued monitoring, and assessment of timely and corrective interventions. I'm certain that with our passionate commitment, determination, inspiration from our rich heritage, and pragmatic policies, we would certainly emerge as a major global, you can call it Gurukul, you can call it global hub. For knowledge, we could repository of wisdom, we could repository of the finest education practices that we can inspire the rest of the world to learn from. Thank you very much. I would like to, while ending, I'll also like to thank all the organizers for organizing this great event and having given me this lovely opportunity to share my views with you. Thank you.